we have encountered some technical difficulties where Microsoft, in its infinite wisdom, installed an update to Office that specifically affected Excel. So I'm going to say silly me for having my automatic updates on. But so anyway, the presentation we originally planned to provide for you, we're going to have to go with a plan B. So what we're going to do is I had done a similar webinar earlier this year, and we're going to play that recording from that and then leave it open for any questions you might have once the recording concludes. So let's try to get this thing going here.
And while you get that started real quick, I'll tell everybody down at the bottom of your Zoom meeting, you should see a little icon for Q&A. You can type in your questions at any point, and then when we get to the end of the recording, we'll work on getting those answered for you.
Okay, we're going to get started or give people another moment or two?
It looks like it, like pretty much everybody has probably joined, so I'd say go ahead.
Okay. And here we go.
I'm going to let Dan go ahead and share his screen and start showing you guys Sage Intelligence.
We've got it now, Dan.
And jumping on our report. Thanks for joining and jumping on our reporting session this morning. Sorry, we did run a couple minutes late on that first one, so hopefully everybody has gotten transitioned correctly here. You've met me. I'm Jeff Stout, practice manager, and I'm just doing a little intro here. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on our intro here. We're going to get right into the meat and potatoes of things that you all want to see. I've got Dan St. John with us this morning. Dan's going to be leading this session, showing you guys a little bit some of the reporting tools, specifically Sage Intelligence reporting. And again, you've met me. We saw this housekeeping slide on the first session, but again, please utilize the chat if you have questions and want some additional information as we go through here. We'll try to have a little time again set aside at the end where we can respond and answer those questions. What we're going to take a look at today, is we're gonna dive into Sage Intelligence, and there's some new things that Sage has announced with Sage Intelligence that are on their roadmap for the future. So we want to make sure that folks are aware of this tool that they have access to in their Sage 100 system. Over the last year or two, we've kind of shown this a few times. We've had a lot of adoption on Sage Intelligence, and so it's a nice tool that you can utilize to generate financial reports and other reports within the application. And Dan's going to show some of that to us today. I do want to just highlight a couple of different components that you'll see in your Sage Intelligence system and what they could do for us. There is a report designer, which again is a tool that you can go in and design, create reports within the application, but you also have report viewers. So if we need to limit who can create and design reports, we can have a viewer license that only allows people to go in and see the information that we've created. Now, one other tool that I want to point out, because sometimes this doesn't get used as much, as the connector tool. So if you have external databases, okay, Sage Intelligence is not just for Sage 100. You can connect it to external databases. So if you have a CRM system, potentially you're another SQL Server database out here that's collecting data from another application for you, you can connect Sage Intelligence into that and grab that data and include in your Sage Intelligence report. So I want to make sure folks are aware of the different tools I have. This is not just a financial reporting tool, although that's what a lot of people use it for. There are many more things that you can utilize Sage Intelligence for. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop my share because I want to get right into the application. I'm going to let Dan go ahead and share his screen and start showing you guys Sage Intelligence. And again, please, if you have questions as we're getting that up and rolling, please go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get those questions answered for you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. our purpose today is to show you a basic financial reporting. As we all know, Excel has conquered the world, and many people want.
Hey Dan, we can't see your screen yet.
You cannot see my screen yet. Okay, new share. My share screen is loading. Okay.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical products. It's Amazon's other company.
There we go.
And we can see my screen now?
Yep, you're good to go.
All right, okay. So I wanted to demonstrate this morning the ease of reporting with for financial purposes. Sage Intelligence does do so much more than that, for everything from consolidated financials to non-financial reporting, keeping track of your inventory, keeping track of your customer sales, your vendor bills, whole 9 yards. So this morning we're going to focus on financial report. Okay, and this is our report manager. And over here you'll see a list of the reports here. Here's a report I prepared for this demonstration. So all we do is click on run. And depending on the report you're trying to use, it shouldn't take, if you're just running a report for one company and depending on how much general ledger data you have, it shouldn't take more than 30 to 60 seconds to run. I know we live in the age of instant gratification. We want to click a button and see our results now, but it does have to compile potentially an awful lot of data. I have seen we're doing consolidated financials where you're dealing with 10, 12, 15, 20 companies to consolidate. Now, it could take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. I have seen it in the past. Okay, so now we're getting ready to have all this done. Okay, just about finished. Minute and a quarter in. Okay, and then this is your report. One of the nice things about using Sage Intelligence, you can have a ton of reports in one workbook. So essentially you can create as many reports as necessary to present to the powers that be, whether it's the executive, whether it's a board of directors, or even the bank sometimes, or the CPA. So I always start off my reports with a page to cover my basics. What company am I dealing with? What year? Period. Am I using budget? So I use the original budget. And in this case, I'm using a location and everything. So I might want to narrow down my income statements to a specific location. Okay. From there, you design your reports. And this is just a quick, version, summarized trial balances. Based upon the types, assets here, cash and inventory, so on and so forth. Full scale trial balance, I'm going to build for you in a second. Balance sheets. Income statement, actual and budget versus budget and year to date. Trend reports. And do it by location. Okay, and then the last one was even do, depending on how you have your segments on your chart of accounts set up. In this case, in my demonstration company, the second segment is the department, so I can have everything set up by department. Okay, let's come back here, trial balance. I've already imported my entire chart of accounts. And so now I'm just going to build it out. I'm going to go beginning balance, all the debits, all the credits, the net change for that account, and the ending balance. So here, I'm going to come in here to closing balance. I'm just going to drag it over here. Okay, and then I'm going to come up here to my function button. And these are fields that have to be filled in. So I'm going to tell, okay, what GL account? So that I'm going to anchor it in there, hit tab. Now I'm going to come back to my parameters for the year. Tell it where I'm going to find my year and my period and my company. And that's really all I need here. Okay, then next I'm going to do my debits and my credits and my net change during the actual period. I wanted to do one thing I didn't do here. For my opening balance, I'm going to do my period -1. So now I have my balance as of April in this case, and then I'm going to have come up here with my ending balance here. So for my net changes, I'm going to come into actual and go through the same process. Link, parameters, a year, parameters for my period, and specify my company. And then I want to come down here a little bit and tell it what balances I want to see. Balance typed. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Right click, I'm going to cheat a little bit. And then come in here and go down and change my debit to a credit. Here, I'm going to come in here, my net change. I'm going to come over here and I could have done this with an Excel formula, or I can let the do the work for me. Okay, net change. And then finally my closing balance. And specify my year, period, and my company. And now I've got my downstairs, and all I have to do is come in here, go down. Here, some. And hold it and top border. I'm missing here. Here we go. And just like I expected, Trump speech fully in balance. Okay, I mean that's really how fast you can. It takes to join a create a very simple report chart of accounts here. Then just come through here and you can do this. I could have done it with a fully formatted GL account number, including the segments. If not, it's not that big of a deal. And the way we do that is I would come over here, instead of main accounts, I've done accounts, and then just drag them up here and see I would have all the information I need there. So back that out here. And so once I've done creating a report, all I got to do is come back to my that one right here and save the template. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the progress of saving it. I don't know about you, but I've always followed Richard Daley's philosophy towards voting, as in save early and save often, especially you get in the summer months and AC starts kicking in, and your lights may flicker or whatever it takes. Maybe okay, so I've completely saved it. The report, the Excel spreadsheet itself, done. So all I have to do is come in here and wait that minute and a half that it took last time to create it again. While this is compiling, are there any questions?
So Dan, the saving of the template, I mean, that means that when we run it again, it just formats the same way that it was the last time we had it. Is that correct? Yeah,
okay. It exactly will. Once you've saved it and you run it again, it'll come up exactly the way you left off. Now, a lot of times I like to position, make it look pretty, position my cursor so on each page, the cursor not obtrusive, and I start out on that main page with the cursor on the period, since that's what you're going to change more often than not. Okay.
Okay.
And there we go. It's exactly where I left off. Okay, so normally when I save, I would basically have this automatically as my opening page, and then go through the cursors here and put my cursor exactly where I want it at the time that I'm trying to do everything. Okay, let me demonstrate one more thing here, as in terms of see my locations here. Now I can always come back into my parameters, and under the trees, I'll go to my locations, and just for grins, let's say I want my East Sales Office, and let go. And by the time I get back over here, it tells me I'm in East Sales Office, and it tells me what my what I'm looking at.
And those locations relate to a segment in your chart of accounts?
Yes, in this case, in the demonstration data, the location is the third segment of the chart of accounts, the middle segment being departments.
So basically that one income statement that you have there could be multiple because it's for different locations, departments,
yep,
so on and so forth. You're just filtering on screen. Yep. Okay.
I even went so far as here and did my location here. It did all my locations side by side. Okay, so all locations is a summary of everything. And the demo data, this didn't have a label for it, but here's all my P&L for my sales, East Sales Office, West Sales Office, Central, and then corporate office. Corporate office usually gets all the expenses like that. So there's really, there's not a lot of limits to what you can do in here. It's, I always say it's subject to your imagination. How do you want your data presented? A lot of times I would come in and do things like, hide the account number, and then, so just I do things that what I consider making the report's presentation quality. Okay, and let's say I want to move this out of the way here. Under BI tools, I also have the tools to email my reports. So using, I'm not set up for this and everything, but come in here
use my Outlook profile. Yep. Manage instructions. So I would add a list of people emails either as a group of email of recipients or any individual. And let's say Jeff. Here we go. Okay, enable email. And, subject line, financials, message here. What do you want to name the file? Financials here. Now, this is very important. See where it says down here, this checkbox, to convert each worksheet to static values. If you try to email this report to somebody that does not have a license, they're going to get garbage. So what happens is when they save it, convert it for an email, they'll change everything on here. They'll eliminate all the formulas and change everything from a formula to a static value. So it makes it easier to communicate with people that aren't necessarily going to have a license. Make sense? Okay. My last set of instructions, I can decide what pages that I want Jeff to get. Okay, so let's say I don't want Jeff to see the income statement. So I come in here and I've got this all set up. I can, put several different things in here. I can have, Karen gets certain things and Patrick gets certain things. And okay, and then when I'm ready, it's not going to work here, but when I'm ready, I just click send. Maybe I've reviewed all the pages and make sure that they're the way I want them to be, and come in here and then just click send, and they will automatically show up in everybody's inbox.
So I see we have a question in our chat. It says, can you tie in information from different areas? Example, financial report by customer, by shipping address, by product for a period. And so Trish, the answer to that would be yes. There are tools, and I mentioned earlier on the connector module. There may be, when you buy, or not when you buy, but when you have Sage Intelligence, there's a lot of pre-built things with it, right? That allow you to grab certain bits of data from Sage 100. There are some other things that we may need to go in and grab. So as Dan has shown here, there are other modules there where you can say, hey, let's go get data from the AR module or the inventory module, and you're pulling in the right tables of data and then combining those together in a report. So there are different things that you can do. It's not just a financial reporting tool, although when you start using it, the financial reports are what a lot of the pre-built templates are, but you can utilize that for in other modular areas, and again in external systems as well. Okay. Okay,
yeah,
I think
by far the most popular portion of this has been financials,
right.
But it's I'm sure everybody has tried exporting a crystal report to Excel, and the results were not always stellar. Okay, so you can turn in here. Non-financial reports tend to be a little bit pivot table happy, but I've had some customers that essentially are just want a data dump. So we choose the fields, we have an understanding of the tables, and just flat out choose a data dump, and that's we're happy with some people.
Okay, so Trish, thanks for that question. I don't know that I see any more out there. Falana, I think we need to kind of start wrapping here a little bit, do our spin, and then we can move on to the next session. Is that right?
Yes, I think it is time for that. You are correct.
Okay.
Let me just show you real quickly the customer sales report that I just ran. And then so here's a sample out of the box report. Basically shows everything that American Business Futures has purchased during the particular time frame. Quantities, cost of sales, profit and profit percentage. Okay, the bottom line is Sage Intelligence can report on within Sage any of the modules that you have data for.
Yep.
As well as access external records like external spreadsheets for these various purposes.
Yep.
And the other question.
All right. I think that's all we have time for at the moment, Dan.
Okay.
We gotta wrap so we can get folks to the next session. I appreciate you showing that, Dan, and spending a little time with us. That's good stuff.
My pleasure.
So Dan, you want to go ahead and pause that recording?
Thank you so much. Yes, that was fantastic. Give me one.
Okay, thank you, Dan. So based on what you'd originally planned on presenting today, was there anything you wanted to add to what you just showed everyone? And you are muted.
Thank you. Yeah, the focus of today's session was supposed to be exclusively on the financial reporting, and so I had a little bit extra in there, but it was primarily designed to display the capabilities of Sage Intelligence. I know we have some users that are familiar with BizNet, and they pretty much look and feel very similar. There are some fundamental differences between the two. But one thing that I did not demonstrate in this particular session earlier this year is the ability to drill down. So what you're looking at there is you can click on any cell that you see there, right click, and then select drill down, and then you it will drill down first to the account level. So if a particular field is comprised of multiple accounts, then it will be you'll drill down to see all the net changes or balances in at the account level, and then you can choose an account and drill all the way down into the transaction level to verify all the numbers that went into that particular account and what went into that particular field. So that wasn't displayed on here, but it's also a very popular feature on here. The drill down to the account level, when Sage Intelligence loads a report, it's automatically loading several years worth of data at the account level, the account balances, things like that. And then when you choose to drill into the transaction level takes a moment or two because it's going back into Sage and grabbing the transactions and transaction details. And it opens up a whole brand new window for each one of these. And that's the primary difference there. I mentioned on the distribution that it's very important that if you're sending this to somebody outside your organization, CPA, the banks, or whatever, you want to put a check mark in that box for static values. If you send it to somebody else in your organization that has a license, whether it's a viewer license or a report manager license, then they will have the ability to drill into a report, drill into the spreadsheet, as needed.
All right, thank you for that information. And just a reminder, if anybody has any questions, you've got that Q&A, and we just got one from Christina. She asks, is it relatively simple to convert or reformat your Biz Insights reports to Sage Intelligence?
Not really. Okay, I mean the Sage Insights, Business Insights report are actually done in Crystal. So there's no real relationship between Crystal and reformatting something to a Sage Intelligence.
I thought Biz Insights was also based out of Excel.
No, not really.
Ah, okay.
Biz Insight is kind of so simple as opposed to designing complex reports within Crystal itself. that it's easier to export to Excel based upon a Biz Insight report, but it doesn't go directly to Excel.
And Jennifer wants to know, does Oasis teach classes on how to use this in greater detail? And will you also create custom reports combining multiple Sage companies?
Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. Be happy to.
Yeah, and Jennifer, we typically, I mean, learning this is for anybody who's uses Excel a lot. It's usually a very small learning curve, and we usually do training one-on-one. What, just a couple of hours usually, Dan? If it's just financials.
Yeah, financials. I'd say I usually allocate 4 hours, but we're usually done in 2 to 3, depending on how much real detail I drop in there. The non-financials would usually end up being 2 4-hour sessions for non-financials, because you have to have a greater understanding of the file structure within Sage, just like designing a Crystal report. Going back up to the previous question, Karen, you might be referring to the Biz Insights Explore function, which is not so much a reporting function as it is a data dump, and that exports to Excel perfectly.
I think Christine is referring to BizNet, which is where they've got their financials.
Okay, now BizNet, it is relatively easy because the layouts are already there. You just have to change in some of the formulas, drop in the formulas, and tell it where to point to. For those of you that are BizNet users, you will find the ability to do a account number range or combination of accounts. This account plus that account plus that account. Far, far, far easier than what it was in BizNet.
And Christina did confirm, yes, it's BizNet that she was talking about, and they use Biz Broadcast. So
Yep.
Biz Broadcast, I believe that's what you use to email out the reports.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's in BizNet terminology. The Biz Broadcast is an add-on, and the major difference is my memory is correct. Biz Broadcast can actually be set on a timer, where it will automatically broadcast stuff. Whereas Sage Intelligence, the distribution of the Sage workbook is not. At least I haven't figured out how to do it on a timer basis. I run the report, verify the accuracy of the report, and then I click send when I'm ready.
Okay, that's good. And thank you all for the questions. Anybody have any other questions? So as Dan had said, Sage Intelligence, well, combination of Dan and Jeff, Sage Intelligence comes with your Sage 100 subscription. It comes with a library, and so if you don't have anything too fancy, then you wouldn't have anything additional to purchase. And if I say anything wrong, Dan, please correct me. So if anybody wanted to schedule some time to get started on that, you can just email our tech support at oasisky.com. I think you've all got that email address, or you can call into our help desk. So we've got, it's not just Dan that can do this. We've got other people, so we would get you set up and scheduled to get some assistance getting going on it and training you on it. And if anybody needed to do anything a little more advanced, and you might need that connector module or some of the others, then we can help you with that. You can email Garen, Garen, at oasisky.com.
Yeah, if I could clarify one thing for you, Karen. Okay, the Sage 100 does come with one report manager license. Okay. And then the newer customers, and I'm not 100% certain about this, but in more recent years, new purchasers or new customers to Sage it came with the report designer, which is the module that facilitates the financial reporting. So you don't have to go out there and tie in all the accounts that are necessary, the tables that are necessary. If you have an interest in consolidated financials or an interest in the non-financials anywhere else in Sage, inventory, sales orders, purchase orders, AR, whatever, then that requires the use of the connector module, which is an add-on, an additional add-on into the Sage Intelligence. For users, you have two types of users. You have a report manager, which is what allows you to create, modify, destroy reports. And then you also have a report viewer that would allows another member of your team, whatever, to simply run reports. They cannot modify the report. They cannot do anything to affect the layouts of the reports. And as an example, if you're the controller and you're the report manager, you've designed these reports, and the president of the company wants to run reports at will, and you don't want him bothering you every 10 minutes, then you can assign him a report viewer license, and he can run reports at will, drill down, or whatever case may be. Any other questions?
Right. I am putting these email addresses in the chat.
There you go. So any other questions?
We really appreciate everybody attending today. I hope that that was educational, and reach out to us. Many of you have my email address also, and I'll answer what I can or forward you to the person who can answer.
One parting note on this is I spoke earlier about the Microsoft Office update that they released yesterday and installed yesterday. Some of you may or may not have experienced this when you've tried to run a Sage Intelligence report today. I've already had one or two customers reach out because they were experiencing the exact problem that we're encountering, and I've already worked with their IT department to instructed their IT department, I can't say I worked on it, to revert back to the prior one. However, just prior to the start of this meeting, I did get word that Microsoft has already released an update to fix yesterday's snafu, and I have not had an opportunity to verify this or even verify that it in fact works or not. But just I want to keep everybody informed. Don't get frustrated if you're trying to run a report and it doesn't work. So that's being worked on Sage's side of it. Sage Engineering is working on it. And then, like I said, got word that Microsoft had released a fix for it. And at the conclusion of this webinar, I'll barely go check that out.
For that information. And thanks, everyone. We appreciate